I woke up that morning with butterflies in my stomach. 10 years, a whole decade of marriage to Tom. I had planned everything, dinner reservations at the Italian place where he proposed, a gift I'd saved for months to buy. I walked into the kitchen smiling, ready to surprise him with his favorite breakfast. Then I froze. Tom stood at the counter, carefully wrapping a gift in pink paper with gold ribbon. My heart lifted for just a second, until I saw the card lying face up beside it. "Happy birthday, Alyssa," his ex-fiancée, the woman he'd almost married before me. My voice came out smaller than I wanted. "Tom, it's our anniversary." He looked up and his face went completely white. "Oh God, Mara, I just got the dates mixed up." He grabbed the gift and rushed toward the door. "I'll be back soon. We'll celebrate tonight, I promise." The door slammed. I stood there in our kitchen, my hands shaking. Then my phone buzzed, unknown number. Does he still do that? I stared at the message, my pulse racing. "Who is this?" I typed back quickly. "Who is this?" The reply came fast. "Someone who used to work with Tom, someone who watched him juggle lies for years. Be careful, Mara." I blocked the number immediately, my hands trembling. At work, I couldn't focus. My friend Tess noticed right away. "You look like you've seen a ghost," she said during our coffee break. I wanted to tell her everything, but the words stuck in my throat. That night, Tom came home acting completely normal. He brought flowers, grocery store ones, still wrapped in plastic. "Sorry about this morning, babe. Work's been crazy." But he wouldn't look me in the eyes. After he fell asleep, I checked his jacket pockets while getting his dry cleaning ready. That's when I found it. A receipt from an upscale restaurant. Dinner for two. The date, today, our anniversary. The time stamp showed 7:30 p.m., right when he said he was stuck in traffic. I confronted him the next morning, holding the receipt between us like evidence. Tom barely glanced at it. "That was a work thing," he said, pouring his coffee like nothing mattered. "A client dinner. Why are you going through my pockets?" His tone shifted, defensive, almost angry. "I'm not going through anything. I was getting your suit ready for cleaning." "Well, it feels like you're interrogating me, Mara." He grabbed his briefcase and left without kissing me goodbye. I sat at our kitchen table for an hour after he left, replaying the last year in my head. How many late nights had he explained away? How many work emergencies had I accepted without question? That evening, I did something I'd never done before. I opened our shared calendar on my laptop, the one we used for everything. Doctor appointments, bill payments, birthdays, and there it was, Alyssa's birthday, marked with a star. A bright, golden star that made it stand out from everything else. Our anniversary, blank, completely blank. I took a screenshot, my hands steady now despite the rage building in my chest. When Tom got home that night, he was in a terrible mood, short-tempered, snapping at me for leaving dishes in the sink. "Can you just handle basic things, Mara? Is that too much to ask?" I bit my tongue. Something was happening here, something bigger than I understood yet. I needed to stay calm, observe, learn. Later, while he showered, my phone buzzed. "Tess, come in early tomorrow. You need to see something." I typed back quickly. "What is it?" 3 dots appeared, then disappeared. Then finally, "Just trust me. This is important." I lay awake most of that night, Tom snoring beside me. The man I'd spent 10 years building a life with suddenly felt like a stranger. When morning came, I dressed quickly and left before he woke up. The office was still mostly empty when I arrived. Tess was waiting in the break room, her face serious. "Sit down," Tess said, closing the break room door. She pulled out her phone and showed me an internal company memo. "Layoffs are coming. They're cutting Tom's entire department." My stomach dropped. "When?" 2 weeks, maybe 3. Tess leaned closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Mara, has Tom been acting strange, desperate maybe?" Everything clicked into place with horrifying clarity. His mood swings, the defensiveness, the way he'd been watching our bank account obsessively. "Oh God," I breathed. Tess squeezed my hand. "I just thought you should know, whatever he's planning, you need to be ready." I went back to my desk in a daze. Then my phone buzzed with a notification from our bank. "Loan application submitted. Joint account." I hadn't applied for any loan. My hands shook as I called the bank immediately. "Yes, Mrs. Carter, your husband submitted the application this morning. I need all our account statements sent to my office. Not our home, my office." "Of course. They'll arrive within 3 business days." The statements arrived in a thick envelope 2 days later. I locked myself in a conference room during lunch and spread everything out on the table. Credit card charges, withdrawals, transfers, everything looked normal at first. Then I saw it. A hotel charge, the Riverside Inn. The date, our anniversary night. The same night Tom said he was stuck in traffic after his work dinner. The same night he came home at 11 p.m. smelling like wine and making excuses. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The room spun slightly. I took photos of everything with my phone, organized by date. When I got home that evening, Tom was already there, sitting on the couch with his laptop. "You're home early," he said without looking up. "Slow day," I replied, keeping my voice light. "Hey, I was going through our credit card statement. There's a charge from the Riverside in last week." His head snapped up. "That's a mistake, an old charge that just posted late." "It has last week's date, Tom." His face reddened. "Why are you tracking every dollar I spend? This is insane, Mara. You're being controlling. I'm just asking about a hotel charge. And I told you it's a mistake." He slammed his laptop shut and stood up. "I can't do this right now. You're suffocating me." He grabbed his keys and walked out, leaving me standing in our living room. The door didn't just close. It slammed hard enough to rattle the picture frames on the wall. I sat down slowly, my heart pounding. My phone buzzed. The unknown number again. Somehow it had gotten through my block. "He did this to her, too." I stared at the message, then I typed back. "Who are you?" This time they answered. "Alyssa's sister, and we need to talk." My hands started shaking. I typed one word. "When?" The response came immediately. "Now, I'll call you." 30 seconds later, my phone rang. Her name was Bridget, and her voice was tired but kind. "I should have reached out sooner," she said, "but I didn't know if you'd believe me." "What happened with Alyssa?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Bridget sighed. "He made her feel crazy, constantly. Gaslighting is the word they use now. He'd forget important dates but remember random things about other women. He'd spend money they didn't have, then blame her for being controlling when she questioned it. He made her doubt everything, her memory, her sanity, her worth." My chest tightened. "Why did they break up?" She caught him emotionally cheating. Messages to an ex, plans to meet up. When she confronted him, he tried to make her apologize for invading his privacy. Bridget paused. "Listen to me, Mara. Document everything, every lie, every receipt, every strange thing. You're going to need it." "Why?" "Because men like Tom don't just leave. They set traps first." After we hung up, I checked our online banking. Tom had changed the password to our shared savings account. I called the bank again first thing the next morning. "I need to freeze our joint savings account until I can verify some unusual activity." The representative was professional and quick. "Done. Both account holders will need to be present to make any changes now." When Tom discovered it that afternoon, he exploded. He called me at work, his voice shaking with rage. "You froze our savings. Are you trying to sabotage our future?" "I'm protecting us," I said calmly. "From what? From me?" "I'm your husband, Mara." "Then why did you change the password without telling me?" Silence. Then he hung up. "Tess caught me after work in the parking lot. You look like you're barely holding it together." "I am barely holding it together." She grabbed my arm gently. "I think you should see a lawyer quietly just to know your options." I nodded slowly. The word divorce hadn't even entered my mind consciously until that moment. But now it sat there, heavy and real. Lawyer's office was small and discreet, tucked above a coffee shop downtown. Her name was Patricia Moss, and she had kind eyes that had clearly seen everything. I told her the whole story, the forgotten anniversary, the starred birthday, the hotel charge, the loan application, the frozen account. Patricia took notes calmly. "You did the right thing freezing that account," she said. "Now we need to gather documentation, timelines, proof of financial misconduct. I have statements, screenshots, receipts." "Perfect. You're a natural at this." She smiled slightly, then her face grew serious. "Mara, I have to ask, do you know about the second credit card?" My blood went cold. "What second credit card?" Patricia pulled up something on her computer. "Your husband opened a card 3 months ago. He listed you as a secondary user, which means it affects your credit profile, but you never signed anything." "That's legal." "Barely, but it puts your financial stability at risk if he defaults." I felt like the floor had disappeared beneath me. I left Patricia's office with a plan. Gather everything. Stay calm. Don't let Tom know I was preparing for war. At home that night, I acted normal. I made dinner, asked about his day, smiled when he complained about his boss. Inside, I was screaming, but outside, I was the perfect wife. 2 days later, an email arrived at work from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line read, "About Tom Carter." I almost deleted it. Then I opened it. "Mrs. Carter, my name is Kyle. I work with your husband. I think you should know he's been telling people at the office that he's carrying the marriage financially and considering his options. I thought you deserved to know the truth." I sat back in my chair, rage burning in my chest. I was the stable one. I'd been at the same company for 8 years. Tom had changed jobs 3 times in 5 years. My salary was higher. My benefits were better. And he was telling people he carried us. Wrote back to Kyle. Thank you for telling me, can we meet? We met for coffee the next afternoon. Kyle was younger than Tom, nervous but clearly genuine. I'm only telling you this because it's not right, he said. Tom acts like he's some kind of victim at home, but everyone here knows the layoffs are coming and he's been panicking, talking about backup plans, loans, saying maybe he'll take some time off after the severance to figure things out. There won't be severance, I said quietly. What? Layoffs due to restructuring usually don't include severance packages. Kyle's eyes widened. He doesn't know that. No, he doesn't. That night, Tom and I got into another argument about money. I can't even remember what started it, but in the middle of his rant about how I needed to trust him more, he said it. You're just like Alyssa. The room went silent. Then he realized his mistake. I didn't mean, but I'd already turned and walked away. Hearing him call me Alyssa broke something inside me. Not my heart, that was already cracked. It broke the last thread of hope I'd been holding onto. The hope that maybe this was all a misunderstanding, that maybe we could fix it. I went into our bedroom and locked the door. Tom knocked softly. Mara, I'm sorry, I'm just stressed. Work's been terrible and go away. Babe, please. Go away. I heard him sigh, then his footsteps retreating. I sat on the edge of our bed and stared at the wall. I didn't cry. I was beyond tears now. I was in the cold, clear space beyond heartbreak where you can finally see everything for what it really is. My phone buzzed, an email notification forwarded from Kyle. The subject line, apartment listings. I opened it. Tom had been searching for apartments. 1-bedroom places, just big enough for one person. Not us, him. The emails were dated over the past 2 weeks. Tom had been planning his exit, but not before securing that loan, using my credit, my stability, my financial reputation to fund his escape. He thought he was so smart. He didn't know I'd already frozen everything, that I'd already started building my case, that I was 3 steps ahead. At dinner that night, I was calm. I asked him about his day, laughed at his jokes, poured him wine. He relaxed, probably thinking the fight was forgotten. You seem better, he said, smiling. I was just stressed, I replied smoothly. Work stuff. Me too, things should calm down soon. I smiled back, but inside I was counting down. My phone buzzed later that night, Bridget again. He thinks you'll fall apart, prove him wrong. I typed back, I will. And for the first time in weeks, I slept soundly. The next morning, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror after Tom left for work. I looked at my reflection, really looked. The woman staring back at me had lost weight, had dark circles under her eyes, had spent weeks questioning her own sanity. I started crying, not because I was losing Tom, but because I'd lost myself somewhere in this marriage. I'd made myself smaller, quieter, more accommodating. I'd ignored red flags because I wanted so badly to believe in us. But that ended today. I washed my face, put on my best work outfit, and walked out the door with my shoulders back. At lunch, I called Patricia. I'm ready to move forward. Good, she said. I'll start drafting paperwork. That afternoon, Tom's mother called. I almost didn't answer. Mara, do you have a minute? Her voice sounded strange, sad. Of course. I think you need to know something about my son. Tom's mother, Caroline, had always been kind to me, but distant. Now her voice was thick with regret. I should have said something years ago. When he was with Alyssa, I saw the same patterns, the same excuses, the same way he'd twist things to make her feel guilty. Why didn't you warn me? I asked, not unkindly. Because I wanted to believe he'd changed, that loving you would make him better. She paused. But people don't change unless they want to, and Tom has never wanted to. What do you mean? He cannot love anyone more than he loves being admired, being the center of attention. The moment someone expects something from him, real commitment, real partnership, he starts looking for an exit. My throat felt tight. Caroline, why are you telling me this now? Because he called me yesterday, talking about quitting his job, about how you'd support him while he figured things out. She laughed bitterly. He wants to trap you, Mara. Don't let him. I sat in my car after work, Caroline's words echoing in my head. Tom was planning to quit before the layoffs hit, making it look voluntary, maybe trying to claim unemployment somehow and leave me responsible for everything. The mortgage, the bills, his credit card debt, all of it. I called Patricia immediately. He's planning to quit his job. Do you have proof? His mother told me, but I can get something in writing from her. Do it. This strengthens your case significantly. That night, I emailed Caroline asking her to write down what she'd told me. She sent it within an hour, a detailed account of Tom's behavior both with me and with Alyssa. It was devastating and perfect. When Tom got home, he was in a good mood, almost giddy. "I've been thinking," he said. "Maybe I should take some time off, figure out what I really want to do." "What about money?" I asked carefully. His smile didn't reach his eyes. "We'll be fine. You make good money." 2 days later, Tom found the bank alerts on my phone. I'd left it on the counter while I showered, not an accident, not anymore. When I came out, he was holding it, his face purple with rage. "You've been tracking everything, every transaction, every login. I'm protecting our finances. You're betraying me." He threw my phone onto the couch. "I can't trust you anymore, Mara. This marriage is over." I looked at him calmly. "I agree." He blinked, clearly not expecting that response. "What?" I said, "I agree. This marriage is over." He opened his mouth, closed it, then stormed out. I picked up my phone and called Patricia. "He just said it's over. Do we have enough?" "More than enough. I'll file tomorrow." That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, and decided to do one last check of our shared cloud storage, something I hadn't looked at in months. That's when I found the folder, hidden, named Archive 2019. I clicked it, and my world exploded. Screenshots, dozens of them, messages between Tom and Alyssa going back 6 months. "I miss how you used to look at me. Remember that weekend in the mountains? Things are complicated right now, but I think about you constantly." I scrolled through them, my hands shaking. Voice notes, late-night messages, photos I couldn't bear to look at for more than a second. This wasn't just staying in touch with an ex. This was an emotional affair, documented in his own words. My chest felt like it was caving in. How long had this been going on? How many lies had he told? I kept scrolling, feeling sicker with every message. Then I saw it. A video file. Dated 2 days before our anniversary. I clicked play. Tom's face filled the screen. He was rehearsing. "Hey, Alyssa, I know this is out of the blue, but things with Mara are pretty much over. She's become an obstacle, honestly. I think we should talk, maybe meet up." I watched the video 3 times, each time feeling more numb. An obstacle. That's what I was to him, not his wife, not his partner. An obstacle standing between him and whatever fantasy he'd built in his head. I sat there in the dark, the video still paused on Tom's face. The face of a man I'd trusted completely. A man I'd built a life with. A man who saw me as nothing more than something in his way. Behind me, I heard the bedroom door open. Tom's voice. "Mara, why are you still up?" I turned my laptop slightly, the screen's glow reflected on my face. Tom stepped closer. Then he saw it, saw his own face frozen on the screen. His expression changed in an instant from confused to panicked. I was just an obstacle," I said quietly. "That's what you called me." "Mara, I was angry. I didn't mean—" "Yes, you did." I closed the laptop calmly. "You meant every word." Tom tried to salvage it. He always did. "It was just venting. Everyone vents. It doesn't mean anything. You were rehearsing what you'd say to her, Tom. You were planning your exit." "I wasn't going to actually send it." His voice pitched higher, more desperate. "You're taking this out of context." "Then explain the context." He couldn't. He stood there, opening and closing his mouth like a fish drowning in air. Finally, he switched tactics, offense instead of defense. "Fine. You want to know the truth? You're impossible to please, Mara. Nothing I do is ever good enough. Maybe I did think about reaching out to Alyssa. At least she appreciated me." I smiled, actually smiled. "You're going to regret saying that." "Why, what are you going to do?" I stood up and walked to my desk. I pulled out a folder, thick, organized, color-coded. His face went pale. "What is that?" "Everything, the timeline, the receipts, the screenshots, the loan applications, the secret credit card. All of it." I handed him the folder. Tom opened it with shaking hands. I watched him flip through page after page, bank statements highlighted in yellow, credit card charges circled in red, screenshots of his messages with Alyssa printed and dated. His face drained of color. "I filed for divorce this morning," I said calmly. "Your copy of the papers is in there too, page 43. You can't just—" "I can, and I did. I've already secured my finances, separated our accounts legally. Documented your misconduct." I walked toward the bedroom door, then stopped. "You have 1 week to find somewhere else to live. This is my house too. Actually, it's not. It's in my name. We never refinanced after my parents helped with the down payment. Check the deed." I left him standing there, folder in hand, his world crumbling around him. The next day, Tom got the call. His entire department was being laid off. Effective immediately. No severance package. Tom's collapse happened faster than I expected. Without a job and without access to our money, he had nothing. He tried to stay with Alyssa. I know because Bridget told me. She said Tom showed up at her sister's apartment, desperate, spinning some story about how I'd betrayed him. But Bridget had already sent Alyssa everything. The video, the messages, the loan applications. Alyssa blocked him immediately. His apartment applications got denied one after another. The secret credit card went into default, triggering an investigation. His parents refused to let him move back home. Caroline told him it was time to face the consequences of his choices. A week after I served him papers, Tom sent me a voicemail. His voice was broken, barely recognizable. "Mara, I made a mistake. A huge mistake. Can we please just talk? I'll do anything." I listened to it once. Then I deleted it. Patricia said he tried to contest the divorce, but he had no ground to stand on. Everything was documented. Everything was legal. He'd built his own trap. 6 months after Tom moved out, into a tiny studio apartment he could barely afford, I got a promotion at work. Senior financial analyst. Better pay, better hours, better everything. I celebrated with Tess and some new friends I'd made at a book club. We went to that Italian restaurant where Tom had proposed 10 years ago. This time, I wasn't crying over broken promises. I was laughing over tiramisu and good wine. At home, my space felt lighter. I'd repainted the bedroom. Bought new furniture. Removed every trace of Tom except for one thing, a photo from our wedding day that I kept in a drawer. Not because I missed him, but because I needed to remember who I used to be. The woman who ignored red flags, who made herself smaller, who accepted crumbs and called it love. I never wanted to be her again. That night, I slept better than I had in years. No anxiety, no second-guessing, just peace. Tom emailed me a week later. The subject line, "I'm sorry." I stared at Tom's email for a long time before opening it. Part of me didn't want to. Part of me knew it wouldn't change anything, but I clicked anyway. "Mara, I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. I was selfish, cruel, and blind to everything you gave me. Losing you was the biggest mistake of my life. I'm in therapy now, trying to understand why I sabotaged the best thing I ever had. I don't expect you to respond. I just wanted you to know that I finally see what I did. And I'm sorry, truly sorry." I read it twice. Then I wrote back just once. "Tom, I appreciate your apology. I hope therapy helps you become the person you want to be, but we're done. Truly done. I've moved on and I hope someday you can too. Take care of yourself." I hit send, then closed my laptop. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. I made myself tea and sat on my porch, watching the neighborhood settle into evening. Tom was still renting that studio, still working gig jobs, still rebuilding from nothing. I'd kept the house, my career, my dignity, my peace. And I'd learned something crucial. I never needed revenge. I just needed the truth and the strength to walk away. The best justice isn't destruction, it's freedom. I took a sip of tea and smiled. For the first time in years, I was completely, perfectly free.